Welcome to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show. This is our seventh and final segment with the Shore family here. Jeff and Bob Shore, the Shore family football legacy. Nearly 50 years you guys have run the football program at Camdenton. So in this final show with you guys, let's look back on the legacy. First of all, you guys just have to, I don't know, I guess you probably, I'm sure you have been able to, and I'm not sure if you have, sit back and kind of take in what you've been able to accomplish in the 50 years you guys have run the football program there. Do you ever sit down and do that?
Do I?
Yeah.
I stay in the present a little bit more. I think more about what they're doing right now in this coming season.
Are you winning?
I'm probably I'm more nervous on the sidelines than I was when I coached.
Wow, yeah, but that makes sense, absolutely.
For all of them, for my son and all these coaches that are just like my kids that I've spent many a half beef on these guys.
Right, or more, absolutely.
So, I would say I would put it that way.
Not really then. You really haven't sat back.
Well, I haven't sat back. The accomplishment, one of the things I'm really proud of was the fact that our football program got put in the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Our whole football program did.
When did that go into the Hall of Fame?
Jeff was coaching.
17, I believe.
17, right.
Yeah.
He was 17.
Jeff was a coach.
The program is in the Hall of Fame.
The football program is in the Hall of Fame, and the plaque is in the trophy case.
And I think that's pretty important because, we talk about the show and you talk about the Short legacy, but but we've been like caretakers of it. You know what I mean? Like there's been so many people, and we just happen to be consistently, and got fortunate and had him coach for so long and provide that consistency, and then I've been fortunate to do that too. But really, it's been all the players and the coaches, and all that's been involved with it. So sometimes you want to make that clear. You know what I mean? I mean like I said, it's been very fortunate for us to get to do that. But really, it's been all the people, the community, the players that have been able to accomplish something that's, like you said, a great accomplishment to get the whole program put into the Hall of Fame.
The community really embraced it, and all the former players, including the ones before I coached from 60 to 75, they really embraced it, and it was really went down there to the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame and was inducted. Every player, the former player showed up, got a little plaque. It was a really neat deal. I thought we might have a all-school assembly. They didn't have, but I'm sure the school embraced it too.
Yeah, I'm sure they
I would
did.
think so, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Well, and we talked about it, I think it was last year before a game. I think you guys had hit like 500, was it 500 victories as a program or something like that?
It was something like that.
Yeah.
At the point in time we got inducted, I think there was only we were one of 4 programs in the whole state.
I mean, there's not going to be very many inducted.
That was a great compliment to everyone that had something to do with it. So
Absolutely.
that was well deserved.
You don't do this without family, right? I mean, unless you're single and you just make it your life, and you don't see that very often. But how important has your families, I mean, you guys are father, son, but you have families too. You have wives and stuff. How important were they in building this? And let's start off with you because you started this in 1975. What did the wife think about coming to Camdenton and coming to, Lake of the Ozarks and starting all over and doing that?
I had a very successful coach tell me one time, said, now what's the most important thing if you're going to coach? This was a coaching class. Well, quarterback, well, offense. Well, you got to have a good kicking game. He said, no, you got to have a good coach's wife.
Yeah.
Or you'll be a failure.
How important was that for you?
It was number one for me, and since my wife has been outstanding, beyond any question, that's one of the reasons I didn't move to college, because you're gone all the time recruiting.
Yeah.
I can work to midnight and watch film in high school, but I'm home.
Yeah.
See? And so I was doing what I like to do, and she supported it 100% as a mother and a wife, both. And my daughter did too. They came to every ball game and stuff. I couldn't have any better coach's wife.
Absolutely.
Than what I've had. And I might say this too very quickly. I come from a generation that is a 6-day work. I'm 77, 6-day work day.
Yeah.
You know? And I saw my uncles and aunts who all lived in the same town. They worked, and my dad until Christmas Eve at 5 o'clock got off, came home, made Christmas Eve, took Christmas Day off and back to work.
Yeah.
And worked every Saturday. What I was doing, I spent some time at. But let me tell you something. It's a pretty doggone good profession to be in. Everywhere I went, my son could go with me. When I went to a ball game, he was on the bus. I'm never sure where he was on the bus, but he was on the bus somewhere.
He was making trouble somewhere.
Probably only left him once or twice somewhere, you know, in the bleachers or something. But they can go with you, and I like that. It's a good family profession, you know.
It is.
Type
It
of
is.
thing. But very important to me and very good.
Absolutely. And we'll get into your family. We got to take a break here, but this is some good stuff. This is great stuff. This is the Shore family football legacy. Jeff Shore, Bob Shore, our last segment with these two. If you haven't seen the first 6, you got to see those. But we'll be right back right after this. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all. We think it's hot stuff when things cool down. We spring into action when things start warming up. Of course, summer is one big, huge shootout on Lake TV. And we fall in love all over again when autumn rolls around. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Lake TV's got it all. At COMC, your health is our mission. Central Ozarks Medical Center is growing in our community with a new dental location to serve you in Eldon and a new location in Lorry. COMC also makes your children a priority with a mobile dental unit serving schools in rural areas where access can be a challenge. COMC also offers OBGYN, sports medicine, pediatric, and behavioral health care. Get more info on how COMC can help you at centralozarks.org. COMC, where your health is our mission. If you love the lake, you gotta love Lake TV. Welcome back to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, the final segment. We're doing our 7th show with Jeff and Bob Shore of the Shore Family Football Legacy, and we're talking family on this show. You're talking about how important it was when you started this whole thing in 1975 that your wife was on board, right? So important. And Jeff, I'm sure it's the same for you, right? I mean, you wouldn't be able to do this job, do it well, if your family wasn't on board with you.
Oh, 100%. My wife, Stacy, has totally supported me doing this and the time with my kid, like he said, it's been such a great profession to be in because you've got that summertime that you can enjoy your kids and do those kind of things. And, Stacy herself was people probably don't know, is a tremendous athlete. So she is competitive by nature, so she enjoys that aspect of it too. She hit the shot to win the state championship for Marshfield's girls basketball at the buzzer. That doesn't happen hardly. It's a Hoosiers moment, literally. And, has held the record for most rebounds and points in the state championship game for a long time. So she's a natural competitor anyway. So, I kind of fit right along. So I always appreciated that from her. And then, I've been so lucky. My kids, Sophie, like you and I talked about before, would probably be she'd probably been the best of the football players. She's a rockhead, scored 1,000 points in her career in basketball, and just fantastic. Got her mom's brains, fortunately. And then I have my 2 boys, Bo and Bear, who what more could a guy ask for? One of my favorite moments is Bo is an 8th grader coming off the edge and tomahawk sacking a quarterback and fumble recovery and my dad coaching him at Bob Shore Stadium. So,
wow.
Right there you can say, hey, Lord, you've been pretty good to me. So,
yeah.
And then, get him getting to play for me and then Bear getting to play. And, we got some more to go on that. So we're excited.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about see what our team can accomplish next year. So, a guy, like you said earlier, you can't hardly buy, those kind of things.
Yeah.
So
you guys couldn't pay for the memories
No,
that you have, been given in the last.
So, and it has always been perfect, but it's been tremendous. So,
Speaking of those memories, I'm going to ask you the impossible question. For you, 50 years of Shore family football in Camdenton, is there a memory that sticks out more than any other from over the years of your time here? Is there something that comes to mind? Winning a state championship, or picking him up on the sideline, or spanking his butt in the bus, or something like that you can think of? And same thing for you in your time, Camdenton football over the years. Is there a memory that sticks out above the rest?
In my case, they're all so special that I could just start naming them and keep naming them.
Yeah.
From the time that I just watched Jeff play junior high, and came from behind, and he played a phenomenal game, and that whole bunch of kids went wild and crazy. Kind of a special moment on a Saturday afternoon game when the weather was great, and we'd won that ball game, and on the road up there, and I could just go on and on.
Could be hundreds of them.
I really could. I could give you hundreds of them.
And none of them that
state championships.
Yeah, I was going to say none of them that you just mentioned was a state championship.
No.
Because of the things that are more special sometimes are
Yeah, it just happened.
the normal day with the family. How about for you, Jay?
I think for me, like you said, there's many, but I think probably going down the line, there's a picture of he and I've got my arm around him at Arrowhead Stadium. And I still remember that. It was before the game. I was like, hey, can you believe we made it here? This is, hey, we're playing for state championship, And that's one. And my son, Bo, in a game against Lebanon, had 13 tackles and had a big tackle for a loss over on their sidelines. I still remember those kind of things. And I think this year we had a great comeback against Glendale.
Oh, man, that was miraculous, yeah.
If you're talking about just personal family things, and us scoring there at the very end there on a 1 yard little quarterback sneak and some different things to cap a big comeback, one of the biggest comebacks we've had in that short amount of time. So there's multiple other ones, but you asked me to just rattle off a few that like I said, more than I deserve.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, we've only got a couple minutes left on our final show here, but what era was the most fun for you? Was it starting the program back in '75? Was it winning state championships in the '90s and the aughts? Was it watching him coach? What's been the best era for you in that 50 years?
I tell you what, you ought to be a professor. You ask some tough questions, some very hard questions to come up with.
Usually
one
my
answer.
guests are crying by now, right?
Yeah, I tell you what, I think probably of my era of coaching, I think probably the 80s with a couple of state championships and a couple of state semifinalists. And the reason is because we became a team to be feared.
Right, yeah.
When we walked in a stadium anywhere we went, people said, we got something.
That's Camdenton.
Now, the 70s set that up with the foundation. No question about that. But that was, and then, of course, in the 90s, we were 95 state champion, 99 state championship. But by then, it was just kind of a given.
Yeah.
But in the 80s, it was like, hey, wow. So I think that era, and we were fortunate over a period of time, and particularly in this coaching business, we had a state finalist play for a state championship in 4 different decades.
Wow.
70s, 80s, 90s, and the 2005, see. So we stayed relevant for a long period of time.
Yeah, and that says something. That says a whole lot.
And still are relevant.
Down to the final seconds, do you have a favorite era?
Yeah, I think I can just go through, picturing in my head 7 years old and seeing that big crowd at that first, state championship run, to playing, together with those guys in the 80s, to when we switched over to this new offense, having great fun with it, and being down at Glendale and coming from behind 2 years ago, and him on the sideline saying, we ran the ball, he said, hey, you're going to run out of time. I said, hey, we're not going to run out of time. We're going to run out of downs, or we're going to score. But I promise you ain't running out of time with the new offense. And we score on the next play and leave too much time for them. We end up winning the game. But, that whole difference in the whole philosophy and having, the way it's gone and everything. So, those are just some right off the bat.
You guys, I can't thank you enough for coming down, sharing your memories and everything with us. The Shore Family Football Legacy, 50 years of the Shores and Camden football. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.